And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. No, really glad. Happy that you are listening. It would be the 26th of March. It's a Thursday, 2026. Hope you're having a good day. And hope you have been paying attention. There are moments, and we're always serious. But then there are moments in time we're deadly serious. You see, when the markets are going the wrong way, we've always had this line, you will get no help from Wall Street. I watched a parade of people today telling you not to worry, and just buy. And I'm buying with both hands today. Not understanding bull and bear markets. And you know we don't take on anybody here. We don't name names except for that one woman who keeps falling for 1.5 million in Bitcoin. And quietly she's lowered the number. But there are certain things that are happening in this market right now that you absolutely positively need to know about. Big time know about. And I hope you're listening even more carefully today. There is a line on Wall Street, and I hope this doesn't offend, but it's true. Pretty ladies. There's a line that says, when they come after the pretty ladies, look out. And what the pretty ladies are the strongest stocks in the market. The ones that have been doing well, the ones that have bucked the trend. So, first, this is serious talk on everything that affects you, the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the Morlocks in D.C., war, and all that other crap. And if you do not get the show, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. You just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice and respectful. We're respectful back, unless you like Hamas. And by the way, there's some people out there that do. And we'll also post it on the YouTube channel, BizTV. So, let us backtrack. We have specifically told you on this show, we're not telling you to buy, sell, short, or cover. We're telling you what we think. And we're telling you what things look like. And we tell you that we have studied the roadmaps of bull and bear markets, that they follow specific roadmaps. We show them every night in our webcast for our peeps. And it keeps us out of big trouble. And those that will follow us for years know we've stayed out of all bear markets. All of them. And may I state for the record, there's been some big ones, there's been some small ones, there's been some devastating ones. One that's been going on recently is the software stocks. We called the top November 4th, and we specifically said to you, we don't know what this is going to lead to, but we'll follow the bouncing ball. And it's turned into pretty much nightmarish. We have told you to avoid payroll stocks, the job market, managed care stocks, United Health and the rest, autos and auto dealers, most retail, housing and housing related, you know, the Home Depot, Lowe's, restoration hardware and the likes. As of recent, because of oil prices going up, anything travel, we told you we're topping. Airlines, cruise lines, Booking Holdings, Expedia, little lesser extent hotels. We've been all over the financials. Specifically, the ones that really topped out first were the private equity / credit stocks. And we've said to you, boy, we're stunned. We're absolutely stunned what Blackstone has done. We warn you about insurance stocks, tops in a bunch of the staples, restaurants. And notice we're naming a lot of areas. We have told you about something called our left screen. Our left screen is made up of lesser tech names that topped out a while ago and have just been getting bruised consistently and constantly. We've warned you about China and the China stocks. Medicals. What the hell's going on with medical research and medical products? Recently, we warned you that the pharmaceuticals had topped. Whoa, Gary, that's a lot of areas. No kidding. Economically sensitive names. Non-AI. And we said to you things like Carrier air conditioning, Otis elevator, and the like. And then we talked about the indices in the market. How the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ 100 were just range bound for 4.5 to 5 months. But then recently broke below the 200-day moving average. For us, a long-term moving average. That if they can get back above quickly, okay. If not, could lead to more trouble. And how do we know potentially more trouble is going to come? By looking at support areas. You know, a price drops to a certain level, and it rallies up, and it drops to a certain level, same level, and drops, rallies and drops to that certain level, and over a 4-week, 8-week period, that certain level on the drop keeps holding. And we say to you, well, if that breaks to the downside, it's going to invite more selling. That's what we've been telling you about Bitcoin and the other crypto crap. And guess what's happened to the crypto and the Bitcoin and all that? Constantly breaking down of levels. Bearish markets. We warned you up front about the froth. We would come on the show for a few weeks and say, just let you know, there's a bunch of froth going vertical. They're being touted like crazy as growth stocks, and they have no sales. And they're in areas that are drones and nuclear and quantum and rare earths and this, that, and the other thing. But we've also said, hey, you know, some of these are probably going to be big one day. But in the meantime, if nothing changes, they're all going to go back to where they came from. They all have gone back to where they came from. The froth came off. They've been blasted. And by the way, some of them still have ridiculous valuations even after they drop 50, 60%. But what else? Well, you know, oils have had a good time of it as of recent. That should be obvious. Oil prices have been going up. And some other things like fertilizers and, you know, things that are in short supply now because of what's going on in the Middle East. That has occurred. But there's been something else that has been going on. Ports in the storm, for lack of a better way to explain them. Stocks that have been strong, they popped out starting the first of this year. Gapped up 3 days in a row. You know what they are. The semiconductors, the artificial intelligence, storage, memory, data centers, energy, construction of the data centers, and we've been harping on them every day. They call them the pretty ladies on Wall Street. They're getting them now. And that's worrisome. So, next on Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. First, as I say, I have no clue what happens tomorrow. You got that? I don't know what happens tomorrow. I do know how the market looks. And let me give out the final numbers, and we'll give you an idea of how it looks. Dow is down 469 today. And by the way, the Dow early was a little port in the storm early, but they finally got that. The S&P down 114, NASDAQ 521, NASDAQ 100 575. The all-important semiconductor index down 381. That would be a juicy 4.79%, as my rusty abacus says. The semiconductors have been a port in the storm. How do I take a big look at them? Well, I know it's been strong. I know it is strong. And I know if they start breaking the pretty ladies. And we're just letting you know that the semis have for now 3 weeks are living below the 50-day moving average, which is not good. And today, ASML, this is one of the big semiconductor equipment companies, down $64 today to $13.29, below the 50-day. The stronger name in the group is Applied Materials, down $31 today, 8%. That just breaks the 50-day. KLAC, down 6% today, breaks the 50-day. And Lam Research, much weaker than the rest, down 9% today. So, is it time they're getting the semiconductors? Well, let me just say they worsened big time today. Is there any cause and effect? Did something happen in the Middle East? Did something... I didn't see anything. Except, what did we tell you yesterday? Micron. That was the strongest name, and it broke support. And we also told you about DRAM prices that look like they may be topping. That defines demand. If demand comes off, could be trouble. Maybe that's a clue. Taiwan Semi now living below the 50-day. Micron is. I just named the equipment makers. And just it was a miserable day. But not just the semiconductors. You know how we've been saying every day? Oh, Ciena, Coherent, Corning, GE Vernova, the LIT, which is Lumentum, Seagate, Western Digital, SanDisk. They clipped them all good today. I can tell you Seagate broke the 50 by just a little bit, though. I don't have any others that broke the 50-day today. What I can tell you is you got a lot of 7 to 10% drops today. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's just bad news that the areas that were holding up very well came in today pretty darn good. Again, tomorrow's another day. I have no redeeming qualities of anywhere else. There were some bounces today. I can tell you software kind of outperformed today. And they've been weak, but if you're in a big downtrend and you outperformed for a day, whoopee-doo. You're bouncing. Terrific. We'll throw a party. They got the construction names today. what these companies are, they've always been in what is known as the building construction thingamabob. That supposedly they're going to have a lot of commercial, industrial, government work for the data centers and stuff. They got clipped today. A few of them have been breaking down recently. The strongest ones came in today. The same goes for the energy. Remember, there's this whole little grouping for artificial intelligence that have been strong. Less strong today. So I really don't have anything redeeming to tell you. Yes, there's a lot more bearishness out there now. Oh, hell yeah. The bears have picked up. We have these little indicators. So that's okay. We'll take that. More people that are bearish, maybe you get closer to a worst case scenario. But technically, the overall, as George Costanza has said, the sea was angry that day, my friends, like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli. One of the great lines out of Seinfeld. And as you know, my life lives around Seinfeld. I keep using all their lines all the time. And I'm using a little bit of The Office also. Anyway, it was just a rough day. It was just a rough day. And we'll walk into tomorrow and we'll see what happens on a Friday. There was no news today on the Middle East, but there was a cabinet meeting that was televised today. It instilled no confidence, unfortunately. All it did was show egomaniacs acting like they're in control. We're in control. While your asses are paying $1 more for gas, while you're sitting online at airports for 4 hours, while a bunch of TSA people said, screw you, I'm retiring and quitting, or I got to go do Uber driving right now because you haven't paid me for a month. And the cabinet meeting, they acted like everything's just frickin' fine. Go watch some snippets of it. I wanted to throw up. Oh, by the way, 14 soldiers dead, 140 injured, bunch of them lost arms and legs. Everything's terrific. We're in control. Because we destroyed a lot of their military. I got news for you. Every single one of you could be president and do and just talk to our military, take that out, that out, that out, no problem. Up next, a little bit more on that and right back in the markets. Oh, and some tidbits. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So again, let me repeat. A cabinet meeting of kissing somebody's rear end the whole time on how fantastic and great he is, while you're paying $1 more for gas, while the job market's been sinking, while you're missing your flights at the airport, and you're waiting in line for 4 freaking hours, and everything's just terrific. If I had the president's ear, I'd sit him down and say, President Trump, you have got to have some empathy for what's happening out there. You look too happy today. You acted too happy. You acted like you just won the lottery. and you had all the people in that room in the cabinet, everything's just freaking terrific, and it ain't. And stop telling us you've won, and it's not a war, but it is a war, or it isn't a war, or what the hell is it? And if you don't think the market is also about confidence, I got some Everglades for you. Yesterday, within 1 hour, all from Trump, wants a ceasefire with Iran, declares victory, is sending Marines into Iran, is not putting boots on the ground, changed his mind in 1 minute, does not want ceasefire, says Iran has no people left, declares victory, asks for ceasefire with Iran, asks for help with Iran, says NATO are poo faces, says Iran begging for ceasefire, says everything is perfect, says $500 oil is a good thing, demands Iran open Hormuz, says Hormuz was never closed, says U.S. not at war with Iran, declares victory in Iran, says war with Iran for nukes, says Iran never had nukes, says objectives very clear, says world owes him thank you, says world are poo faces, gives Trump peace prize, declares victory in Iran, bombs Do you feel my frustration? The market kept dropping through his cabinet meeting. Confidence, intangibles, uncertainty. It's a big part of life. Need you to know that. And I'm rooting for him. I have to. I stand with him. Tidbits. I just want to let you know, as I have always told you, get a 15-year loan, not a 30, on a mortgage. Get a 15, not a 30. You're going to pay a little more in your monthly payments, but you're paid off in 15 years, and you start paying it off from the first payment. Let me read something to you. On a $400,000 loan, with an interest rate 6.5 over 30 years, you will pay a total of $510,000 in interest. You'll pay more in interest over 30 years than the purchase price of the home. Whenever you're buying a house, go get an amortization table of a 15 to 30, and you'll thank me. That's a tidbit. I found that. Software. As you know, very rough shape, and it was actually better relative strength today. I got a little tidbit yesterday. Software is getting smoked again today after Anthropic shipped their new update that lets your AI control your computer for you. Okay. And then I want to bring up a symbol, VCX. It came out trading yesterday. It's some sort of IPO that is kind of like a fund with a net asset value that owns private companies in AI and all that crap. It was trading at 565 yesterday. It closed at 262 today, down over 50%, right? Yeah, right. Remember what we told you about this crap that's coming out at ridiculous valuations. It is imperative. It is absolutely imperative you realize you got to take what Wall Street's showing you and telling you. And all I know, there's another one. VCX is the symbol. It's a portfolio of private companies, and they just ridiculously valued it, whatever. And there's actually a net asset value there, and it was freaking insane. Tidbits. I got emails from a bunch of you on what I asked about the annuities yesterday. You all agreed that on an annuity, the distribution, you don't pay taxes on the distribution, but the gains in the annuity. But you know what the problem is for my friend? The annuity company was bought out 3 times and cannot figure out the cost basis. It's going to be a guessing game on cost basis. And they're going to try and do like a halfway type of thing. And if they get audited, they're going to write a note saying we did best efforts, but 3 buyouts and we can't figure this out. And by the way, the annuity company was called, they could not help. Yay. So that's a little tidbit for you today. Also, on this George Costanza Day. Whew. It was a little bit of a rough day today, ladies and gentlemen. Sandis down 74. Light, the strongest name, down 81. Seagate 34. FN down 62. Sienna down 50. That's been strong. And by the way, we've seen days up that much. So they're really trading sharply, both up and down right now. Yikes. Just a tough day. Big indices are trading below the 200-day moving average. The small and mid caps had a rough day, of course. They're still trading above. But I really do not have much in the way of redeeming qualities, except sentiment is decidedly on the bearish side now. We told you yesterday that Meta and Google were breaking very important support levels. Google, we didn't say Meta yet. Meta down $47 today. They lost some lawsuit or whatever. Completely breaking long-term everything. And Google was down $10 today. That broke the top support. And what we mean by that, it was already toast. Give it double toast now. Those are 2 mega cap names, ladies and gentlemen. Tesla, below the 200-day, worsens. It's not a great environment. That's all I can tell you. They got the pretty ladies today. Foreign markets, the strongest one, South Korea, took out the 50-day today. I believe Taiwan was on the strong side too, took out the 50-day today. So, ew. Yields, 10-year, up 0.88 to 4.416. Yields will go up with oil prices. The USO today up $3.87 today to 117.26. The good news is in the aftermarket it's down $1. Yippee. Up next, have I thrilled you yet? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Well, let me give you some good news. The Mets are 1-0. They beat the Pirates today 11-7. NCAA. Basketball. As we told you, we're going to give you out some picks. You're in the final 16. You got 4 games tonight, 4 games tomorrow night. We'll go into the final 8, get to the final 4 in the final. I really don't have any picks tonight. I looked at all 4 games, and I think they're very tough games. Illinois-Houston, a 2 versus 3 seed, very tough. A 1 versus 4 Arizona-Arkansas. I like Arizona, but an Arkansas coach. Nebraska, Iowa. Well, Iowa, didn't they luck out against Florida? One would go towards Nebraska, but I'm just not sure. And when you're not sure, you don't do much. And Purdue, Texas, Purdue is the chalk in that game. If anything, I do the money line, but I don't like doing the money lines. Do you know why? Because you're paying 2-1 and 3-1. So we're going to beg off today, and maybe tomorrow we'll do some games in the back half of the final, what do they call it, the Sweet 16. But I will tell you, I'm much better in the Final Four and in the final game. Much better. Anyway, that's the story. That's your sports for today. Yay, the Mets are 1-0. We'll throw a party for them. I have yet to look at the box score and see who did what. I gather the pitching wasn't so great. Oh, darn, what is that noise? That was ESPN noise. Okay. Anyway. The good news, as I told you, my wife lost the little tip of her pinky in a car door. It did not affect the bone and will not need surgery. So that is very good news. She has very good doctors. I got to tell you, when it rains, it pours sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. She's doing quite good. Tidbits. Home sellers. I started to mention yesterday, but now I got the number. Now outnumber buyers by 630,000 in the United States, the largest gap ever recorded. Typically, that's going to mean prices are going to come down. Just letting you know. Buyer's market. Beer. Not bear markets, but beer. U.S. beer shipments expected to reach a 37-year low now. As we have been telling you for a while, avoid alcohol stocks. One of the best things I have seen is our youngins are blowing off alcohol, hopefully not for the weed. As I have told you for years, we believe alcohol is about as overrated as can be. We're always amazed at how much consumption there is of alcohol. Why? What's so good about it? Let's see, what are we, end of March? I've had one drink this year. Last year, I think I had 5 maybe, and the year before 5. And really, the only drinks I have, when I go to Nobu, when I'm in New York, love Nobu, they have this spicy margarita drink, and that's it. It's overrated, and it's bad for you. Just letting you know. I gather the people at Budweiser aren't going to be happy with me, but such is life. What can I tell you? All right, so back on point. I have no clue about tomorrow, but let me tell you another thought. You listening? Politics and war, and the economy and the markets. I'm just wondering if sooner rather than later the president says screw this. And what takes the win? He keeps saying every day, we've won. But now we're putting boots on. Who the hell knows what's next? I'm wondering if they finally say, screw it. We won. We destroyed them. We're getting out of there. We'll see. The problem, that Strait of Hormuz. If they say weakness, they're going to give the Strait of Hormuz middle finger back. It's getting interesting now. The miscalculations are straight into the fore. And politics enters the fray. If you've seen the poll numbers for the Republicans, they're slightly lower than Jokic and Root Canal. And by the way, that's not sarcasm. Amazingly, he's way underwater on immigration, even though he closed the border, which is, to me, in the last 20, 30 years, the greatest thing a president could have done. Nothing but applause for doing that. But then they went too far on the deportations and they lost the conversation. Tomorrow, I have absolutely no clue what happens on the market. Wish I did. Bounce it, maybe. Who knows? There's no earnings reports to change the playing field. Not much. But maybe some news will drive into Friday. And by the way, on weekdays, on weeks, Fridays will matter. So put that in your file manager about maybe, just maybe, they take the win. Because I got news for you. The economy is not in good shape. The job market is worse. Inflation is picked up. And of course, everything in the Middle East. Wish I had better news. Maybe tomorrow. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. It's simple. Make sure you hug your family and children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Peace out, all. Good night.